So, what is baptism? And obviously, anywhere you go with any type of religious belief, it's not going to say every single thing in detail of what these steps are, as it is supposed to be common sense. And what is common sense? Obviously, common sense is something you would know without anyone having to inform you. So, if these are not logically common sense to a point where anyone would understand what baptism actually is, then I wouldn't know what to do anymore and how to explain to any person what anything is. So obviously, with baptism, it's free from sin and it's a protecting shield. So, for example, if you die during a life after baptism in a gunshot, or you transfer to the next life, as in without prior memory of your baptism, you might have to seek rebaptism. And that is when you wouldn't have your information, for example, a baptism certificate and or anything that lingers. So you might need it. But for the people that do remember and do have documentation of their baptism, then you obviously would not need a rebaptism. However, when it comes to cases that are unbelievably illogical and makes no sense to as of how does a baptized person commit a sin? And these are obviously threats from elsewhere, powers and forces from elsewhere that would make a baptized person sin. So, in the begin, obviously it is common sense that free from sin and a shield, because otherwise you would have to get a constant monthly baptism. So this is supposed to last and shield a person lifelong. And in regards to how lifelong, that is when the Catholic Church had said that people had to go in and practice for a certain amount of time for maybe, if it is something even alien-like or superhero-like, then obviously it is to go in and practice to enhance and create the shield to be bigger. So if you aren't practicing, then maybe the shield is withered and or thin. So if you are not deeply into religious belief, then that could just maybe be why it is slightly thin and or unprotective. But as to the will and as to everything else, for example, if you have a will to really never kill anyone, or if you have a will to really never have real sex with anyone, or if you have a will to really never commit bad karma, as in eating real food, to exit the cycle of killing, then maybe that will always stay. But when we're talking about how does a baptized person sin, this might be a gateway and or entry, like a gateway drug, to an entry to what we would consider hell ground. So when you look at Earth, as rumors are made here, and what are rumors if it's not some sort of evidence to correlate with some sort of piecing together what it could possibly be? So when we're looking at planet Earth and the life here, it obviously comes across to me looking pretty 3D. And 3D obviously means 3-dimension. What is 3-dimension if it is not one, hell, which is eating, killing, and whatever else, sex, sin, things like that, and next it's going to be some sort of immortal ground, as in some sort of fake, artificial, plastic, immortal kind of ground. And another would be considered, I want to say, heaven, which is the nice part and the lovely part of Earth. So, I mean, when you look at it, it is, to me, my entry was different. It was dark side, bright side, and an alienic possible exit. Somehow I found my way here, and it is possibly 3 exits.